And now to Brandis Friedman and an alarming trend in heart health. Brandis.
In Paris, there's sobering health news out. The total number of heart disease deaths are on the rise. And according to the study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, the statistics are even worse for Black Americans. Here to talk about the latest news is Dr. Vincent Buffalino, a cardiologist with Advocate Medical Group. Dr. Buffalino has also served on local and national advisory committees for the American Heart Association. Dr. Buffalino, welcome back to Chicago Today.
Thank you. Good evening.
So, total heart disease deaths on the rise. First, please define all that encompasses heart disease.
Well, heart disease, there's obviously some spectrum, but it's basically about blocked arteries having heart attacks. It's plugged up cholesterol filling those arteries that supply the heart. And so it's important from our standpoint to look at who's at risk. Why is there an uptick in deaths? Well, obesity is a rising problem in the country now. Almost 40% of the country is overweight. Diabetes, a huge uptick in diabetes, and high blood pressure also on the rise. So although we've seen a downtrend over the last 2 decades, frankly, we had dropped the death rate by 30%. It's now kind of rounded and on the way back up because we're dealing with the lifestyle things that actually lead to heart attacks and heart disease.
The same lifestyle things that you just mentioned with regards to obesity, diabetes, those sort of...
Exactly.
Okay. So a few stats about heart disease. About 14% of people who have a heart attack will die from it. So heart attacks have an 86% survival rate, for clarity. But for those who suffer cardiac arrest, the statistics are shocking. Only 3% of Chicago's cardiac arrest victims survive outside hospitals. Inside the hospital, only 24% survive cardiac arrest. So, Dr. Buffalino, why are these numbers so dismal?
Well, it's terrible because if you have a cardiac arrest, basically your heart stops. It goes so fast that it goes out of rhythm and stops. And we have a very narrow window of time. Every minute that goes by, 10% we will lose another 10%. So within 10 minutes, we lose the majority of those folks. And so that's the problem out on the street. If we look at the issues, is did they get responded to? Did somebody come and help? The recent studies have showed, though, that we have a huge uptick in CPR. Bystanders are actually doing CPR. 50% more just in the last 3 years are doing CPR. And so we're energized by that. We actually have 30-some thousand folks that were trained in CPR just in the city of Chicago. Urban areas are a challenge for us. Detroit, 0% survival. New York, 2%. Chicago, 2 to 3%. Just imagine having a heart attack on the 45th floor of Wacker and Randolph. Hard to get to. And so to get our paramedics there within that narrow window of time, very tough. Unfortunately, we lose those folks quickly. Now, if you have chest pain and a warning and you come to the emergency room, we're really good there because we get you right up to the lab. We put a balloon and a stent in your artery, open it up, stop the heart attack, and actually 95% of those folks survive. So that's where we hope to get a chance, is get to people early. Once they go down, it complicates it. Our ability to save those folks is compromised, for sure.
Now, we've just talked about the difference in survival rates between cardiac arrest and heart attack. Explain to our viewers, please, the difference between those two.
Well, cardiac arrest, the heart stopped. And so, like I said, we have very precious minutes to turn that around, shock the heart back in sync. These automatic defibrillators that are now populated everywhere are the way that we get them shocked back into sync again. Heart attack is artery closed, blocked, you're having chest pain, you're sweating, you're out of breath, and you come to the emergency room. We get a chance in that circumstance to intervene. We get a chance to stop it. We get a chance to interrupt that heart attack. Where cardiac arrest, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of time.
So what can we do to improve these numbers? Should more people be getting screened? Should more people be learning CPR?
For sure, more people should learn CPR. The uptick in people trained so that if somebody goes down on the street, that people are comfortable to not just panic, but jump in, get in there and start doing CPR. And we have simplified CPR. So there's no more mouth to mouth. So it's simply put your hands on the chest, press hard and fast. And so that is the issue that we want to train as many people as we can. Also, we want to put these defibrillators in many locations. These are automatic, basically computer generated. We put the pads on the chest. It detects that the heart is in cardiac arrest and shocks the heart back in sync. And we have those all over. And there are many stories of saves I was promoting these for the Heart Association, and I said, well, I better get after it. So I bought one for my kids' school, one for our church, and one for my trunk. Half a dozen years ago, one of my friends had a cardiac arrest in my living room one night. Fortunately, there was a couple CPR trained nurses there. It took me about 30 seconds to remember that I had a defibrillator, and my wife ran out, got it. We hooked him up, shocked him, and he was awake and talking before the paramedics got there. We got lucky. Timing was right. We were in the right place at the right time.
Several nurses and a cardiologist in the room for that patient.
Yes, he was fortunate to say it was my event happened in the right place, yes.
We're talking about bystanders and people jumping in to provide that CPR. 3 years ago, bystanders only helped 13% of the time. Now it's up to 24% of the time. What happened? What changed?
Well, we made CPR easier. We increased the number of training programs around the city so that it's easy for people to get training. We actually have a CPR anytime kit. So the Heart Association has a little kit that's less than $30, and it's a little mannequin that blows up, and in 20 minutes you can learn CPR at home. It's a great housewarming gift to give to your neighbors and say, learn CPR for the neighborhood. So those are the ways. And we use now telephonic CPR. So when you call 911, and if you don't know how to do CPR, the operator will talk you through the steps of doing CPR right on the spot. So we're increasing the number of people that are actually doing CPR, and that gives us a better chance to save more lives.
You mentioned the defibrillators. Should more of those be required in buildings?
We think they should be everywhere. They're going to be like fire extinguishers, in my opinion, that anywhere there's a fire extinguisher. There's a chance. Any chance you have of someone going down, you want to have a defibrillator. 6 months after my arrest at my home, the principal called me at the school and said the guys were playing night basketball in the gym. One of the guys went down, had a cardiac arrest. They took my box off the wall, shocked him, and he was alive with a new stent the next day. So it happens in lots and lots of places, and we think every high population, they're at Soldier Field, they're at Wrigley Field, they're at White Sox Park, they're at the big venues. So we think it's important for people to have access to these devices.
Dr. Vincent Buffalino, cardiologist at Advocate Medical Group, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Paris is